This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You prepared your kids for their first steps. The first day at school, their first dance, that big test, all the wins along the way. With a College Savings Iowa 529 plan, you'll prepare them for even more. Register before May 31st for a chance to win a $1,000 contribution. Visit collegesavingsiowa.com to make the first move toward a bright future. College Savings Iowa. It's how parents get through college. Administered by the State Treasurer of Iowa.
Hashtag no music, no intro. This is the training camp starting edition of the Saints Block Party podcast. Ryan, we said it last week. I knew when I came back from vacation, I was like, shit, it's to the grind, bro. Like, it's to the grind as only the New Orleans Saints can do. And as I'm driving to work today, my co-host sends me a tweet, and I look at it.
Right.
I wish I could explain why it made me emotional, why even thinking about it makes me a little emotional. But it does. I don't know, call it nostalgia, call it whatever you want. But the pilot himself, Jimmy Graham, back in the black and gold with the Saints, wearing number 80, official today.
What's crazy is, like, there was no reporting of this, like none. Like, it was just came straight out the blue.
It was on Reddit. It was on Reddit, bro.
Oh, I will say that, yeah.
I only know that because when I went to post our pod to Reddit on whatever day, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day, I saw the post, I read it, and I was like whatever, and just went on with my day. I posted our pod and whatever.
And to see the tweet, like the Saints put out the tweet, him signing, I probably stared at it for like a good 10 seconds, like is this a throwback picture or
throwback?
Because Jimmy still looked the same. I'm like, oh, at the date, I'm like,
man, haven't really aged.
Like, huh?
And kind of walking through that, right? Everyone's like, oh, he's signing like a one-day, ceremonial thing to retire a Saint. And then boom, Underhill puts it out. Everyone thought it, right? Underhill puts out 1-year deal. And it's like, like he's gonna play. He's played.
Because it's crazy. Before Underhill tweeted that, I was like, he signed a little 1-day extension. I was like, damn, man, but if he could just play a little 5 red zone snaps a game, shit, we can do something with that. You know what I'm saying? Just something.
I can't. And it's crazy how a hypothetical tight end 3 on the team has just created like this buzz. And Jimmy Graham is a player who was so polarizing for Saints fans for whatever reason. Like, he was a polarizing player because you had fans who absolutely loved him as a player, and then you had fans kind of towards the end before he got traded to Seattle was calling him soft and like all these other things. And I remember like during that time period when that was happening, I blocked so many Saints fans for calling him soft, not because I was like a Jimmy Graham stan, which I was and kind of forever will be, but it was more like I just, because I played football, like I don't like football players being called soft. Like, you can kind of go out there play style, like Tyler Lockett ain't gonna get hit, bro. He's gonna take care of his body. He wants to play, right?
Right.
But I took a lot of offense to fans calling him soft. Like this man had plantar fasciitis. Like that hurts, bro.
Played through it. He played through so many injuries. You know, I mean, his last like 2 years with the team, he was good, but it seemed like everything changed when Aqib Talib locked him up in the 2013 game.
Oh, when he was playing for the Patriots.
Yeah, when he's playing for the Patriots. And it seemed like after that game, something wasn't the same. He was still good, still had dominant moments, but there was like, I guess you saw kind of the kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he's not Superman. He's still great, but he's not Superman. And he had a couple of inconsistent drives. Some of it's not him. He became like, he was such a focal point. Drew Brees was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna throw it to Jimmy.
Jimmy. But just go back to go back to the Aqib Talib point. He was so dominant that Bill Belichick said, I'm gonna put my best starting corner to cover this tight end. So even if Jimmy, in theory, if he didn't produce during that game, you have your wide receivers who should be able to win matchups because they are going against lesser corner. Oh, don't get me started, Ryan. Don't get me started, Ryan.
This is the argument. I hate to go back, but this is like what everybody missed during that time. Everybody was talking about he locked up Jimmy Graham. I'm like, they put a number one corner on your tight end. Like, you should lock him up. You know what I'm saying?
Can we talk about
Can we exploit that?
Can we talk about how dominant he was that literally the Tampa Bay Bucks drafted Mark Barron top 10 in the draft just solely for the purpose of stopping Jimmy Graham? Their team and coach said it, bruh. Like,
yeah.
Come on. I remember the day. Remember that free agency right before it happened? I can tell you exactly where I worked. I was working at PennyMac in Moore Park, California, the worst fucking job I've ever had. Like, I will send that to their social media. It was the day before, it was a day of free agency, and I tweeted that day, like, I'll never forget. I was like, I just want some crazy, just madness to happen, right, bro? And like a minute or two before free agency start, it was either Rappaport or Schefter tweeted like there's some rumblings that Jimmy Graham was going to be on the move, and I was like, nah, man.
They have one, man.
It's crazy. Free agency started, bro. 5, 6, 7 minutes in that bitch. He was gone, and you would have thought one of my relatives passed away, and I got the news, bro. I almost dropped to my knees at work, like, oh,
it's hurt, bro. Hurt.
It was the last time I let a outcome of a Saints player, wherever they went, traded, cut, ever affect me to that degree. Like, I just, like, to me, that was just like, it was just such that it hurt. It hurt. I had to block him on Twitter, not because I had anything against them, but you know, every time, like, I'm not the type of person when I'm in a relationship, and if the relationship doesn't work out, I feel like I need to block the person on social media, because like I just consciously, like, if you're regardless of whoever went into a relationship, you're gone, you're happy, like, live your life. I don't need to like go through like your social media and look at that. It's never been my style. I can probably count on hand how many people I've actually had to do that for. But like with Jimmy Graham, I was like, I don't want to see him retweeted on my timeline. Mike Triplett was retweeting like Seahawks reporters when he was making plays in training camp, and I was like, Mike,
killing me.
Stop, Mike, stop. But to see him in that 80 today, I don't know, man. It's
put a smile on my face, just like
Joker, baby.
Real, man. Like it's the thing. It has nothing to do with like the player. People are like, oh, he's washed up. I'm like, I don't care, bro. I don't care, man. He doesn't have to do anything with the Saints going forward. It was just so nice to see that gesture, because it's purely an emotional gesture, and it was a player we all love. You know, Hall of Fame Saint.
Yes,
just
easily
one of the best players to ever put on a black and gold, man. It really came in as a 3rd round pick. 2010 NFL draft. I remember looking at the few little YouTube cut-ups that was out there when he was playing for Miami. Like, man, look at this dude. Like, man, we could just get some balls up to him and get a couple of touchdowns. That'd be awesome. And Sean Payton was talking him up. Sean Payton was like, because I remember Triplett or somebody asking him, like, hey, you guys think he'd be able to develop in the next couple of years? Sean Payton was like, nah, he playing this year. Like, he gonna play this year. We are drawing up some plays. I'm like, ooh. And I think it was week 2 or 3. We're playing the Falcons, 2010, and they ran it was a TE screen, I believe.
Okay.
It was tight in the screen, and he was moving. I was like, okay, Jimmy moving. And then after that, week after week, you just see him get more and more snaps, to the point where by the last couple of games of the season, he was bossing, bro. Like,
it was at Ravens. They played the Ravens his rookie season.
Yep.
And they didn't win that game because Drew hadn't beat the Ravens until 2018. But they played the Ravens that game, and was Shockey still on the team? I want to say Shockey was still on the team, and Graham was tight end too, if memory serves correctly. I could be wrong. But I just I saw him make some plays in that Ravens game, and I was like, okay. Okay. Like he's a player. It's like you said, as a fan, I'm not as a sane football fan, I'm not expecting much out of him. Did he even play football last year? I don't even know if he didn't play. He was out. Yeah, didn't have a team.
He was out there in the field.
So I'm not expecting much. But if he just gives us one of those jump balls and just one, bro, just one in the end zone. Maybe it's against the Falcons. You can't dunk on the goalpost anymore, but just for nostalgia's sake, you just freak out.
Man, it's all I need, bro.
Bro, if we on the Zoom, this go be hype, bro, hype.
And like me personally, I'll approach it. I would ramp him up slowly throughout the season. Like, I wouldn't just start week 1 with all these Jimmy Graham packages. No. Like, I would ramp him up slowly, just sprinkle him in here and there. Maybe even a couple of weeks, have him deactivated. You know what I'm saying? Like, just bring him slow. Then towards, like, the second half of the season, start ramping him up. He's a veteran player. He's 36 years old, man. Like, it's crazy to me.
Jimmy Graham is one year older than me?
It's crazy, bro. So...
Oh my God.
So to me, it's just like, if the Saints are able to be a playoff team this year, to have him ready to go in January is just kind of like an X factor. Man, that'll be awesome. But we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. The dude might not even make the 53-man roster. Like, we have no idea. He might physically.
No clue. I tweeted this, and then our dude Jay Mood, Jordan said this in our Discord. Also, if you want a prime example of why our Discord is great, look no further than today, man. Today, I wasn't in it a lot just because I was on vacation for 6 days. I had a lot of shit to catch up on, but I was able to kind of, at least to some degree, keep up with the happenings in the league with the Saints, Justin Herbert. Such a great, I don't have to go Twitter, X, whatever, Threads, just right there. So you listen to this, time to become a Patreon is now. That said, I called this out and I said, no, DA think you a little slick, bro. Like, DA think you a little, just here you go. Like, let me kind of, do a little Jedi mind trick on you where it's like, oh, we are not, these are not the droids you're looking for. Like, no, I haven't. I have not won a winning season as a football coach. But here you go. Here's Jimmy Graham around the plate. Just look at. And so my tweet said, as deep as this team is, right? We've gone through the talent. We've gone through the positions. As deep as this team is, now you have Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, cancer-free Foster Moreau, and potentially tight end 3, Jimmy Graham. You have Jesse James. You got Taysom, bro. Don't even know what Taysom. Still don't know what Taysom role is on the team, bro.
Vibing, bro. Vibes.
He's like the joy of the team, bro. Just vibes. You have all this, in theory, talent. If he cannot have a winning record with the teams, and this is also assuming decent health luck. Decent health
Decent.
luck. If this man, as a head coach, can't win 10 games with this team when the best quarterback they face on their schedule is Trevor Lawrence, gotta have a conversation, man. Gotta have it. I'm not trying to be
major conversation.
Not trying to be the person like rain on the parade and what have you, but like a conversation would need to be held. And I'm going to ask this, right? I probably wouldn't have asked it if I hadn't seen that fucking video, but I saw that video yesterday or whatever day, and so now I got to ask. With all these things that DA's played a role in, hand in this offseason, getting the offense, and I don't want to make it seem like it's all him, right? It's not all him. But, you know, him, Jeff Ireland, Mickey Loomis, getting Derek Carr, getting the offensive weapons that they've gotten with Foster Moreau, getting Michael Thomas back, et cetera. We can kind of go down on the list. As a fan, even though you're still the emotionally disconnected fan, how much, I don't even want to say forgiveness, but how much is it easier to kind of forget that him and Mickey, with Gail's blessing, went after Deshaun Watson last season? And I'm only bringing it up because I don't know if you saw that clip of him from this.
I saw it.
How much?
I mean, like for me, it was like once it was over, I was just like kind of wash my hands with it. But it's always going to be something that's right here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Because it's a character thing. Like, okay, I see it shades your character. I see how y'all roll. You know what I'm saying? So that's always going to be there. Like, that's just always going to be there with them. Like, I just see how they roll. It's about integrity to me. You know what I'm saying? That and the John Gruden thing.
John Gruden, Frank Clark, flirting with Frank Clark for months. Like, it just, like you said, it kind of goes to their integrity or lack thereof when it comes to winning, right? And I know there's some Saints fans who don't care like what it takes. Like, as long as they're producing and winning on Sundays.
Most Saints fans. Most
that's not
sports fans.
Sports fans.
Most sports fans don't give a shit. So I get it. It's not like we know, like we're not on some high horse here. It's just, look, I look at it. You know what I'm saying? But that said, speaking of that Deshaun Watson, bro, he just don't get it, bro. He don't get it. It's like,
I know the type of person that he is because I work with those exact same people in my job, and that's probably why the whole thing, not the only reason, but it really bothered me last season, like immensely, because I'm like, I have been across a table from a person like that, you know, whether it be man, woman, whoever it is, and it's like, you've done this to this child, and you're just like, oh, no, I didn't. No, but like literally, like there's evidence. Like it's right here. I don't know what you're talking about. So even a year later, you know, from last year, in terms of like the recruiting or going after him as a free agent or wherever he was, well, he wasn't free agent, he was with the Texans. Seeing that Mary Kay Cabot, where she just posted it, and part of me is just like, where's your journalist integrity? Like it was just weird because I'm like, you're a female, like you're not going. 25 women just made this up and lawyered, and it was just a media creation. What? Anyway, sorry, I don't want to go down that path again. But I wanted to ask it because it was just so recently in my face. Aside from the Jimmy Graham news, the Saints also signed today Max Garcia, another guard, Trey Turner, who used to be a division rival for the Carolina Panthers, like an all-pro at guard at one point in his career. at this point, I would say, if he's, Senio Calamente, which that's not a knock on Senio, by the way. I think that's a win.
Yeah.
And I am impressed of how the team as an organization is not relying potentially on an Andres Pete's health to be ready for the season. Cesar Ruiz's health potentially to be ready for the season. With these signings at guard, their depth, but they're also players like a Trey Turner who started games last season that if you need Trey Turner to start a couple of spot starts, first 3-4 weeks of the season, you could at least maybe feel comfortable that he's going to be in and your offense of line isn't going to go shambles. And that's been what we've been talking about the most on this podcast, especially this offseason, is offensive line and interior defensive line.
Exactly.
So I'll give them a lot of props.
With like Trey Turner, I mean, you go look at somebody like Jari Evans, who, he left the Saints, went around for a round, came back to the Saints, left again. He had kind of like a post-prime career that went along because he was just a solid. I mean, once you offensive line, like once you really understand the really intricacies of it,
yes,
even as your physical, body diminishes,
if your mental
you can still play. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can still play up to a certain standard. You won't be great, you won't be all pro or Pro Bowl, but you can still play. So somebody like established like Trey Turner, who has a lot of great snaps, played a lot of great football in his time. Even if he's not far from the player he was, like to have that as like a depth piece, that you bring in late July, like I take that, and I gotta give credit where it's due, bro.
Got to, man.
Pretty much every position group on this roster has a ton of competition, like a ton of competition.
The only position that doesn't, in my humble opinion, is defensive end.
Right. Which just speaks to just the nature of the position. Like,
yes,
they don't grow on trees, bro. It's like you missed out. You got Peyton Turner in there. Did
you? Could I give you the quote? The quote. I was reading John Hendricks' thing, bro, because I had to catch up waiting for you.
Oh, what John Hendricks, bro? That's my dude.
So I'm if you're watching the video, I'm scrolling to get to the quote, which I know is not great video podcasting or podcasting in general. But in Mickey's and DA's like pre-training camp starting presser, which training camp starts tomorrow, somehow Peyton Turner was brought up. Dennis Allen said that he's focused more on the development, not the end results for him. He pointed out more than a few times the importance of him being around from the very start as an important part of things.
Okay.
Now, I get that. Fine. But you're a first round draft pick on the defensive line as an edge rusher. I get it. You got to develop, but you can't as a coach tell me, like as a head coach, say we're not worried about the end results. Like you have to be worried about the end results, bro. Like
that's a damn statement right there. Like
what are we doing? Like, but you're right. That's
we just want to see you do something, bro. We just want to see something.
That's my motto for Peyton Turner all season, bro.
Something, bro.
Something, man. Something.
Like, I'm not even worried about the end result. I just show me something, bro.
Even as much as we ragged to first, and don't get me wrong, most times it was often deserved. We would see like there would be stretches where it'd be like, okay, like we see it, right? Besides
Marcus Davenport got mentioned by national media. You know what I'm saying? Like national media was like, you got Marcus Davenport coming on here. It's like I be fussing at national media. Like, why y'all talking about him? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? They don't even mention Peyton Turner. They be like, who?
Back to our draft video all over again.
Just who? You know what I'm saying? Like,
is he active? Where is he? can almost guarantee you, like if it's an offensive coordinator or if the head coach is an offensive person, bro, when they game plan against our defense, Peyton Turner is not. Like, what's his number? 98. I don't know. You know, I'm the.
You know they have magnets. They probably even have a magnet for him. He got to write his little number in there. Like, oh, you got 98 in there.
98. I do want to get back to what you said in terms of the giving credit where credit's due. We would be remiss as a podcast if we did not do exactly that. Like Ryan just said, there is depth all along the team except for probably defensive end. And like Ryan said, it's just kind of the nature of the position. And I'm gonna say a spicy take. This, I'm not saying talent-wise. I'm gonna be careful how I say this. I'm not saying talent-wise because the 2011, 2009 Saints teams were a different level. This training camp may be the best training camp the Saints have had in a very long time.
I believe you. When you think about it, man, it's a stacked training camp, and it's kind of undervalued. Like I listen to like a lot of national media podcasts or whatever, and it's just kind of crazy how undervalued the Saints are right now. I won't say it's crazy because it's understandable. You know what I'm saying?
It is
79 last year. Year before that, they went what 9-8 or whatever.
8-9.
So it's something like that. Like. So it's understandable they're undervalued, but I'm like, man, like Marshawn Lattimore, he didn't mention at all. Alvin Kamara, like they just ain't even including him in like running back rankings at all.
He didn't even, not that this matters to anything because it means absolutely fucking nothing. He's not even like a top 10 rated running back in Madden for this upcoming year's game.
No, not in fantasy. He's like a 40th ranked running back in fantasy, bro. Like he's not. Like it's just not there, and it's just like, damn, there's some value with a lot of these players. Chris Olave, Raheem Shaheed, Michael Thomas. We ain't get to him yet. We will. It's like a lot of players with this team that seem to be really undervalued right now. That if health works out, if they're put in their position on paper, if they're put in position to succeed. If the coaching is right, things could be beautiful, man. Like things can really be beautiful.
Hey, need you to, if you're watching this right now, Mr. Pete Carmichael, need you to look right here, buddy. Right here.
Right here.
These eyeballs. It's on you, bruh. It's on you, bruh. I don't even. I gave like Pete a little of a pass because I know some of his play calling was indicative of that's what Dennis Allen wanted him to call, being conservative, not throwing what have you. Man, you guys, DA trying to be a little stingy, bro. Pete, you gotta drop your nuts, bro. DA don't call offensive plays. Last I checked.
Straight up.
DA don't call offensive plays. You got these weapons. I know if y'all didn't brush out the out and up from the tight end position for Jimmy Graham today. Come on, just saying.
Bro, I was looking at the clips, boy. I was like, woo.
Haven't done it, bro. Don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Scene, that Sluggo scene, baby. Oh, man.
Sweat, bro. Sweat. You brought up Michael Thomas. Good news. Great news. Expected to start training camp full, no setbacks, healthy. That is amazing news. I will say though, like you said it when we talked about it a couple of podcasts ago, you just want him to be healthy, bro. You just want him to get through training camp healthy, because it's like I don't want to like. It's just kind of like this sense of dread has kind of followed him, not
right
of anything of his own volition or doing. I just want him to get through this training camp healthy, and I'm gonna paint this picture for you, bro. It may not even work formationally. I'm gonna paint it for you anyway. On left side of the formation, I'm gonna put Michael Thomas outside. I'm gonna put AK in the slot. I'm gonna put Jimmy Graham right on the edge of the line. On the right side, I'm gonna put Chris Olave. On the outside, I'm gonna put Rashid Shaheed in the slot. I said I put Jimmy Graham in that, knowing that like Juwan Johnson would probably be a better option. But just work with me here, right? Work with me, folks. I just want you to just visualize that shit just for 1 second. And Derek Carr sees a defensive fuck up, and he audibles, bro. Pete got to cook, bro. Pete got to cook.
Options.
Pete got to cook.
Pete, like Dennis Allen, as much as we said about him, Dennis Allen has given you a reason to succeed. He's gotten you a functional quarterback, a high-level smart quarterback. He's filled you with depth on the offensive line, filled you with depth at the wide receiver position, filled you with depth at the running back position. It's like as an offensive coach, you should be embarrassed if you can't put something together with this, bro. Like, seriously. As somebody who's sat under Sean Payton's tutelage for, 15 plus years, like, you should be embarrassed if you can't put something together with this group. Like, you should be digging through. You should be watching 1972 clips of the Raiders or whatever. Like, just pulling stuff out the bag, watching Andy Reid, seeing what he's doing, watching everybody, and just putting some stuff together that, watch the Saints. Go back and watch the 2011 Saints and the 2013 Saints and the 2016 Saints.
Bro, you don't even got to look at any other team. Like, you just self-scout yourself, bro. Just self-scout yourself. But it's going to be interesting because one of my burning questions, and it seemed like such a silly question, but like the reason I asked it because I think it's a very important question. Are we going to see motion when the offense is when training camp starts? Bro? We going to see that?
That's what I want to know, bro.
It's a question I need answered. Because I think it's going to be vital of what we may see or may not see when the season starts. So we've talked a lot about offense. We did hit on the defense a little bit with Peyton Turner a bit, I guess. Anything, training camp starts tomorrow. But let's real quick, going back to offense real quick. I want to be correct in saying this. Is Trevor Penning not on PUP?
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You prepared your kids for their first steps. The first day at school, their first dance. That big test. All the wins along the way. With a College Savings Iowa 529 plan, you'll prepare them for even more. Register before May 31st for a chance to win a $1,000 contribution. Visit collegesavingsiowa.com to make the first move toward a bright future. College Savings Iowa. It's how parents get through college. Administered by the State Treasurer of Iowa.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I don't think we're 100% sure yet. I think they said he passed his physical.
Right. I think, yeah.
But I don't know if that 100% means he's not on PUP. But it's looking promising so far.
Which is good. He's a huge jig piece puzzle in terms of the offensive line in general.
Like, even if he's not on pup, I wouldn't expect him to just be like out there full court.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's gonna be a pinch count at least. But yeah, that's promising. Like, so far, like from what I've heard so far, you know, the players that should be ready to play or should be ready to go. Like, even Kendrick Miller was looking kind of like, I was like, oh, it's an MCL. I mean, this seemed like more than MCL with him, but apparently he should be ready to go tomorrow too. So everything's looking kosher, bro. We'll see though.
We'll see. It's like, can I just really quickly, speaking of training camp, and so much has happened the last couple of days, I actually forgot this happened. Like, the weirdness that some Saints fans were like saying when CD got injured and he looked like he had like a severe injury and like calling it karma. Like, what are we doing? Like, I had to block dude, man. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, I get it. He got traded and he badmouthed the Saints, and then he went to the Eagles and he left the Eagles and went to Detroit, and then he badmouthed the Eagles. We've said this even when CD was on the team. As a fan, you love CD when he's on your team. When he's not on your team, you can't stand him, right? But at no point had he done anything that was justifiable to be like calling him getting injured karma.
Right.
Like, there's no, it was dumb. I
was like, for what? Like, what? For what, man? Like, like Toronto said, called him a net. Like, that's the perfect description.
Oh my God, that is
like, he's a net. Like, because I know, like, nets are just tiny and it's just like, move. It's like, what?
Yes.
Get out of my face. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what CD2 says. I mean, he's annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just is what it is. But that don't mean, like, damn, I hope your career ends. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dumb.
Stop. Stop.
Any thoughts on Justin Herbert? Well, I'm going to circle back and get to the Saints defense before we wrap it up. Any thoughts on Justin Herbert contract extension with the Chargers?
None. Had no thoughts. Like, it was coming, bro. Him coming, Joe Burrow. That's the one everybody waited on. Like, what's going to happen with Joe Burrow? But
what Mike Brown gonna do?
We know Herbert wasn't gonna get paid, bro. I mean, I think I saw where he, has the most yards, touchdowns, and all that stuff since he came the first 3 years in the league. He blew me away, bro, because I was not high on him at all coming out.
Don't blame him at all, bro. Just bring in Mario Cristobal for the rest of my life. Rest of my life, bro. Like, it's like how you have a Porsche in the garage and you out there just driving it like you in the school zone, like just 30 miles per hour everywhere, bro, on the freeway.
What's crazy is it's kind of happening to him in the pros. The way they just build their offense is like, you got this dude here. Can you give it? Like, I'm not gonna say he has weapons, but
he does.
Like, to really like accentuate his gifts. Like, get that man some speed. They went and got Quentin Johnson. That should help some, but it's like, man,
the Chargers seem to like have a type at wide receiver, right? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnson.
Got the running back who catch a ton of passes. It's like
Austin Eckler.
That's great for like 38-year-old Phillip Rivers. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like you got a young gun there. Like, man, flood this dude with just weapons, man. Flood him with weapons. Maybe the defense won't be that great, but flood him with weapons and let him go achieve, man. He in the AFC. He in the AFC West with the dog, with the guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are y'all doing? You have to beat the Chiefs. Period,
bro. Period.
So what are y'all doing, man? So he getting paid now, so that's going, things going to tighten up a little bit. I just,
At what point does Mahomes go to the Chiefs and say, hey, you know what? That contract I signed,
he can do it when he wants.
Whenever
he wants. That's whatever he wants. Like, when he signed that contract, I think he knew that like stretching it out over those years would help the team. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That would help the team. He's going to get
Yes.
paid. He's going to get every bit of that money plus more.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? For as long as he wants to play. But, you know, I think at some point he's going to be like, man, look, I ain't trying to be like the ninth highest paid quarterback. Y'all got to do something about that shit.
You got to fix it.
Got to fix it.
It's funny because it was brought up in the Discord how just NFL Twitter and NFL media when Drew Brees was making $20 million a year, just everyone came for Drew's neck for no reason, bro. No reason.
I had a machine today, bro. I still hate that dude to this day.
Ben blocked, bro.
Ben. Like, one of my earliest blocks. Talking about dude, selfish. Like, $20 million a year. This dude, Drew Brees, played on a year-to-year contract after blowing out his shoulder from 2006 to 2012, played on a year-to-year contract, $10 million a year.
That's wild, man.
He could have got cut either. I mean, he wasn't going to get cut, obviously. But I'm just saying, say he got another like crazy injury, he could have been cut with no guarantees.
He had no long-term guarantees. None.
No long-term protection. And he played that all that time, bringing the New Orleans Saints to a Super Bowl. Even after having one of the greatest offenses ever, even after all that, continued to play. And then he got paid. He got $20 million a year, which
he deserved.
Right. Which one year later was passed up by Aaron Rodgers. Then it was passed up by somebody else. Now we're to the point where these players getting $55 million a year. I mean, Aaron Donald gets $30 million a year. Aaron Donald, a defensive tackle, gets $30 million a year. Not knocking him. I'm just saying, a defensive tackle gets $30 million a year now. You know, so you can't like. What do you think about everybody has a take on the whole running back stuff? Running backs, you know, are they underpaid or whatever? Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he signed the $11 million. Beat the franchise tag. I don't think I have a take. It's how do I word this? The league has shown you what they think about running backs.
Yeah.
And it's not like what can they do? You can't start a running back union, rough. Like you can't go on strike like UPS and just say like. So like
Florio put out an article a while back, basically saying like they could start like some kind of committee within the union. It's like, come on, bro, like that shit's gonna happen, man. But I've been saying, like I've been through, like man, running backs need their own union because it's just one of those things. They're in the same group as kind of like safeties and tight ends and all that, where they kind of, you know, the franchise tag is low. Yes. So they don't have the leverage to really boost their earnings unless they're really great.
Right.
But I guess what hurts for the running backs the most is the rookie wage scale because their prime years are like the first 4 to 5 years of their career.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's it. Like after that, it's like, so their prime years are under a rookie wage scale. They have no control over how much they earn. It's completely dependent on where they're drafted. So by the time they hit free agency, they kind of cooked. You know what I'm saying? So that sucks for them.
It does.
There's nothing you could do about it. I guess the only difference between like safety and tight end is like running backs are still kind of the faces of franchises, especially if you don't have like if you don't have a star quarterback.
A quarterback,
like,
yes.
Who they put on the front of the commercial ticket. Running back
or season tickets? Yeah,
right.
It's the running back. Man, I had a question or a point I was going to follow up with that, and it's gone. This is what happens when you're dealing with like 4 hours of sleep. Anything defensively, as we wrap this up, defensively, Saints wise, as training camp's about to start, because we hit on the offense a lot. Anything defensively, you just kind of keeping your eye out on. Wanted to know. Also, it's also good to see Brian Bresee healthy. I know it seems like it's such a small thing, but he dealt with a lot of shit at Clemson, and it led to him falling in the draft a little bit. So the fact that he was healthy, has been healthy, Good to see. But anything defensively that on your mind, on your plate?
Nothing really, man. I'm waiting to see the pads come on, bro. Like, I won't know nothing till the pads come on. I can't wait to see, the one-on-one, pass rushers versus offensive linemen. I want to see Foskey. What is he? I don't know. Like, what is he as a pro? Well, I want to see Breezy one-on-ones. I want to see who's beating. Can he beat some guys? I want to see the physicality, how they move. I just can't wait to see all that stuff.
Breezy's big, bro. Like,
big dude, man. Like,
every time I see him, I'm like, God damn it. They building defensive tackles different, bro. Like, different. They didn't look like this.
No, they didn't look like that back in the day at all.
No. So I'm used to, like, I still kind of have like that Hollis Thomas, body type kind of still in my head, and that's not how these dudes are. Like, I remember, like, I watched Breezy before I want to say before the Saints drafted him. I was just like he looks like a linebacker out there, bro. Just long and anyway. Excited to see the drills. Excited for the tweets and kind of keeping up with the tweets. You and I have talked about this. We talked about on the podcast. Just kind of like miss the days of not having training camp tweets and just not having that, and we're not connected, but still, man, if a player gets hurt and it's, like a pretty bad injury, like, it's still a downer, like,
and look,
period.
Come to find out with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, we still don't know how serious it is, but it looks like it's not what we, feared. Right. But it just goes to show, like, you just get that one tweet, everybody's like, oh, man, he's going to be out for the season. It's like, take me back to just not knowing, bro. Just take me back. Ignorance is bliss, man.
It is. But if we didn't know the tweets, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have more content, more episodes to do. So that's, I guess, in a sense like that, we're kind of thankful of them. So today's Tuesday. Tomorrow's the first day of training camp. Our goal potentially is we're going to have to do another episode this week. So I'm probably we'll aim for Thursday. We don't want to do it Friday because we record Friday. By the time you guys listen to it on Monday, because no one listens to podcasts over the weekend, it's already old news. So we'll try to make sure we'll do a 2-day training camp pod on Thursday night. So y'all can listen to it on Friday. But thank y'all so much. This is I'm wearing an old hashtag Saints Sort of Podcast tank top. I am happy to announce that I know we've gotten a lot of tweets, a lot of questions about it. The Saints Block Party Podcast merchandise is coming. I have the first tank top coming my way. I just want to see it. I want to see it, see how it looks. Make sure you see how it looks on the fabric. Wear it, make sure it looks good, and then we will slowly start sending those links out so you can buy your Saints Block Party Podcast merchandise. And we are going to try, don't hold me to this, but we're trying to do something where if you're a Patreon, you will get a discount code for the merchandise for supporting us. If you're not a Patreon, you'll pay full price, but it is a perk to become a Patreon to get that discount code. But hopefully, I want to say maybe next week, when training camp's full throttle, we'll be able to get those links out so y'all can start purchasing merchandise for preseason games, for the regular season games. We have the Houston Texans game meetup. We have the West Coast meetup for the Rams game. We're up to 36 people. We have the Bears game meetup in New Orleans, where we're going to be rolling at least 20 plus deep to the game, even if we're not all sitting together. But the actual party's probably going to get close to 30-ish people, if not 40. We might need to talk at least, see how much that backyard can fit back there. But
she got room.
She got room. Big wealth back there, bro. Love you, Elise. But thank y'all so much for support. Be kind with us as we're still navigating these fresh waters of doing video episodes more continually. But Jimmy Graham signed today. He became a Saint again. So we had to do a video episode. We're going to try to do these more consistently the best we can. So work with us. This is new territory for us a little bit, just in terms of our setup and everything. But We thank y'all for your patience. We thank y'all for supporting us. We'll be back this week talking training camp, seeing how the team's doing offensively, defensively. Is offense using motion? I want to know it, bro. I want to know. But that said, thank y'all. You have been great to us, especially during this rebrand. We've been able to get new Patreons off this rebrand. If you haven't checked it out, check out saintsblockparty.com, our website, where you can find everything about our podcast and about us. We appreciate y'all. We can't thank y'all enough. We'll be back this week. With that, we're out.
Peace.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.